What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson Fury. I read in a recent article Tyson Fury was really criticizing and putting it to Wladimir Klitschko. You know, of course, these guys fought 3 years ago. Tyson Fury was a 10-1 underdog and upset Wladimir Klitschko to be the new cash cow of the division. Of course, he was the mandatory, and he had this to say about Wladimir. He says Wladimir Klitschko is a cheat, and I'm going to explain all the reasons why. First, he said that he lied on his height. He was wearing spacers in his shoes. He said that Team Klitschko tampered with the scales because the scales said he was 17 stones, and then he rechecked on his own scale and he was 18.4 stones. And then, of course, he criticized Wladimir about wearing spacers in his shoes. The ring, it had 10 inches of this memory foam like cushion on it on the day, because he always checks the, where he's going to box at. And he found out that Wladimir Klitschko, in fact, had a experience of training with that memory foam. And Tyson Fury said it, straight up, like, hey, I can't fight on this. If that's the case, we're going to go home. So they end up snatching that out, and it was a regular ring at that point, a regular canvas. Also, the gloves that Tyson Fury ordered were puncher's gloves. The ones that he received was actually some like protecting padding. It was like a padded glove, opposite of the glove that he ordered. And he made that point clear. And speaking of the gloves, one of the most important things were each team has a member of the other team that's present while the wrapping of the wrapping of the hands and the gloves. And by the time Tyson Fury's father went there, the gloves were already on, the gloves were already wrapped and equipped. And John Fury stated, hey, you got to rewrap them unless we're going home. So at that point, they rewrapped the gloves, took the gloves off, and rewrapped them again. No problem. Now, that's why Tyson Fury said that Wladimir Klitschko is a cheat. And he wanted every possible advantage, and when he couldn't get those advantages, he was pretty much a defeated fighter getting into the ring. You know what I mean? So, my assessment of this is me counterpunching what Tyson Fury had to say. I think that all of those things are very mediocre, okay? All of those things are like misdemeanors. They're not nothing major, okay? Like as far as the scale, okay, they're heavyweights. It's not like I can understand if this was another division, cruiserweight, light heavy, super middle, something other than heavyweight. It doesn't matter what size he was. So I don't see why that was even worth speaking on. Second, the spaces in his shoes, I guess he wanted to have like kind of a more even, because Tyson Fury is a taller guy. Okay, so I think that he wanted a little edge and in the psychological forefront, by putting spacers in his shoes, if that's the case. I never seen Wladimir, though, taller than Tyson Fury. So, I don't know what he's talking about. So, I don't really know what else, as far as the memory foam, now that is a big deal. I think that was probably one of the main ones. If that was a tactic by Team Klitschko to make him slower, or to make him, more stable or less mobile, that is another tactic. I would just call that pretty intelligent, pretty clever, not as opposed to being a cheater, because A lot of things you can do in the ring, or a lot of things you can do outside the ring that could allow you to, that'll give you an advantage. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Klitschko, was accustomed to, training on this foam. But the question is, what benefits did Klitschko have for training on that particular foam? You know what I mean? Was it for his feet? Did he have bad, you know what I mean? Did he have some type of injury? I wouldn't really know how that would go about him, why he would do that. You know what I mean? The only thing I can think of is, okay, well, maybe he wanted to slow Tyson Fury down, which is a clever move. I don't think that's cheating. I don't think it's the most admirable thing to do, because I want to see, me personally, I want to see someone at their best and what they're capable of doing. But strategy. Now, as far as the raps, that was the number one thing that I want to talk about in Counterpunch, because I look at it like this. That is a big deal. You should always be present when the wrapping of the hands and the gloves are put on the other opponent, and someone needs to be there present to see what the hell's going on, what those wraps, how they're wrapped, because that's all the thing in the world. Are they tampered? Are the gloves, were the gloves the same gloves? You know what I'm saying? That's why those gloves are marked, people, because they want to make sure those are the same gloves that were picked and approved by the officials of that fight before that fight began. So it's a lot of reasons that the opposite side should be there, okay, at the end of the day. Now, obviously, they were taken back off, rewrapped, then they were observed to see they were done right, because Tyson Fury didn't back down. You know what I mean? Team Fury didn't back down at all. They were like, hey, let's see those damn gloves rewrapped, or we're going home. Now, it would have been a big deal, people. Understand this. If something like some Antonio Margarito shit happened, like some shit fell out of the gloves that didn't supposed to be there, they was wrapped fucked up. Obviously, that wasn't the case. So I don't see where he was talking about, oh, Wladimir Klitschko was downright cheating. I don't think that was the case. If you go and you look at other A-side fighters that have the advantage, that has, certain things that they can do, they do. Okay? Look, for example, perfect example, Miguel Cotto versus Sergio Martinez. Martinez, everybody knew he had bad legs and bad knees and shit. Well, he had this fucking robotic like brace on that helped support his knee. Well, Freddie Roach was like, fuck that. We don't want that there. Take it off. Why? Because Freddie Roach was the A-side. They did not want to give any advantage to Sergio Martinez that night. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason those type of things done. Now, Sergio could say, hey, and Team Martinez, they could say, hey, they were cheating. But how was that cheating? That was just giving them an advantage because they had that advantage. Just like Klitschko tried to make certain things happen, and in fact, it didn't happen simply because, Team Fury wouldn't let it happen. That doesn't mean that they were necessarily cheating. It was some slick shit, but it was not cheating. You can't call it cheating. I think he's over-exaggerating. You know what I mean? That's just all of it. Again, like the memory foam, that was probably the second to the most important. The gloves, okay, well, the gloves, you can say he wanted puncher's gloves, but let's face it. Is Tyson Fury really a puncher, people? Is he a puncher? No. He's a boxer, and like he said in this article, he said he's a mover, okay? He's not a puncher. So the padding was probably good because he could protect. Because I remember Holyfield, when he fought Lennox Lewis had a puncher's glove because Lennox Lewis is a damn puncher. He can box, but he can knock your fucking head off. But, Holyfield was also a boxer, puncher, but he had more of a padded glove. Now, is that something to really bitch and complain about? It could be. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people had problems with the gloves. Just like Floyd Mayweather didn't want Maidana to have certain gloves. You know what I mean? They're like, hell no, you're not wearing these gloves. So, but that doesn't mean Maidana was cheating. You can't say he was a cheater just because Mayweather didn't want those type gloves. See what I'm saying? So I think at the end of the day, Tyson Fury is just trying to rub in the fact and make his win more credible, right? And I think honestly that That fight is over 3 years old. Why are we talking about that now? We're talking about that now because Tyson Fury wants to make that win more credible and wants to get more credit for that win, even though it was a long time ago. I think Tyson Fury, it may be some regret in not fighting Klitschko to seal the deal. Let's say Andy Ruiz beats Joshua, because it was an upset, right? Yeah. So if that's the case, that's like Ruiz never fighting Joshua and going out and getting high and fucking his career up and losing the belts on the reasoning of just his own self-destruction. That would be terrible. So I think Tyson Fury is really trying to harvest this up and to harvest all the details about that fight, simply because he didn't seal the deal. And I think that's going to always bother him. And I think that was one of his mistakes in his career. He should have fought, and he should have been at himself to fight Wladimir Klitschko. But then again, a lot of people criticize him for not taking the rematch, for not defending those titles that he won against Klitschko. Okay, so, you know, he's never won a title fight. He's never been in a title defense. Put it that way. That's better said. He's never defended his title. So, you know, I guess the only thing you could talk about if you did do that is the upset. But let's say Andy Ruiz gets beat. Andy Ruiz could say at the end of the day, all said and done, hey, I'm the first Mexican-American champion, and I'm the first one to beat Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what you have to talk about. That's your claim to fame. That's Fury's claim to fame. Yeah, a lot of people think he beat Deontay Wilder, but he didn't officially get the win. Okay, so until then, he has to do something to put the stank on it, to put the stamp on it. That's what I think this is coming from. Because what else would he talk about something that happened 3 years ago? 3+ years ago. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Tyson Fury's statements. I'll leave the link below to let you guys check out the article. Tell me what you think. Do you think Wladimir Klitschko is a cheater? Is he or is he not? Well, that remains to be seen. You guys let me know what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.